There we are. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. Hope everything's working. Weekends are long enough. I will just wait and see if this thing pops. Something seems a bit strange today. But it's one of those days as well that, you don't even need to look at the Bitcoin price anymore because it's a stable coin. 59K plus or minus 150 bucks for days and days. It's really sleepy, but it's the last day of August. Thank goodness. Let's get into some volatility. I'd even prefer things violently moving downwards than things being stagnant. Anyway, crypto market cap is a little bit higher than it was yesterday by about $30 billion, I think. Volume very low. ETH 2,500. Bitcoin again 59K. And fear and greed 29. Not much has happened. But there's things bubbling up under the scenes I want to bring to your attention. And of course, this is not financial advice. Thank you as well to the mods and chats and everybody. I see people in Australia and Sweden and all over the world. Love it. So first of all, the week in crypto. Bitcoin is up a fraction. In fact, it's probably break even now. And New Zealand is here too. Thank you so much, Ocelot. Literally over a week. It's gone nowhere. 0.13% up. ETH, however, got a big kick in the teeth, down nearly 10%. Cardano down nearly 11%. Solana flat, down 0.9%. XRP down, 7%. TON, despite the outage and the arrests and everything else, up 1%. Pretty remarkable. That's what happened this week. Not too much, but there's other stuff happening. I'm going to get the Bitcoin stuff out of the way first, including a new price target, and then get into some alt stuff and macro, etc. So this is from Arkham. Shout out as well to Sanjay as well for bringing this to my attention right before I went live. Fidelity sold this week. Bitwise sold this week. ARK sold this week. Invesco sold this week. VanEck sold this week. All red weeks, except BlackRock bought $200 million of Bitcoin. Ta-da! They're still there. It was a good, strong start to the month in August, but then it really petered out towards the end. And maybe it's because there's a thing in the US called Labor Day weekend, which is this weekend. Everybody's out, everybody's away, having fun at the beach or going to concerts. So be safe out there if you're doing any of those fun things. I wish I was too. But yesterday, Bitcoin ETFs dumped 175.6 million. The day before, 72 million. The day before, 153. Day before, 127. It was a brutal, brutal week. But BlackRock still made it happen. They pulled in over 210 million for the week. And the other interesting news about this too is, despite the crazy dumpage and the buying by BlackRock, Bitcoin price flat. So, despite all that dumpage, it had no effect. It's like when the ETFs buy a lot, it has no effect. It shows you the market makers are doing their thing. Now, a little bit of excitement as to, I shouldn't say excitement. Well, excitement, I mean, for the next 3 months. We're talking October, November, December. This is a beautiful chart here. And you can see Bitcoin's price action this is from Fundstrat, Sean Farrell. Sorry, I nearly forgot his name. Sean Farrell. Shout out to Fundstrat. Great job. But Bitcoin's price action has been choppy. The cryptocurrency has been sliding. Again, that 58 to 62 for ages right now. And Farrell believes this volatility, or lack thereof, and low liquidity environment that has persisted through much of the summer, it really explains where the prices are at. Low volumes, etc. Now, that means when things kick off, there could be some exaggerated price movements. We have to see. Now, he did speak also, I think, of what's called seasonal sluggishness. If you look at the little red box painted on this chart, between literally the second week of August and the third week of September, things can be sideways. That is the seasonal pattern of Bitcoin. It can also take a little bit of a dip in November, but November is always the best month, so I don't know how that's showing up here. It's a bit unusual, but either way, we are in that doldrum period, as I've been calling it for weeks. However, I do expect things to kick off in September because there's not much time in the year and liquidity is going up, up, up. I forgot to add a liquidity chart. I will do that on the next video. But Fundstrat as well. Sean Farrell acknowledges all the risks, including geopolitical tensions, reemergence of stagflationary environment, And despite all these concerns, he remains confident that the Bitcoin bullish structure remains in place. And he believes, everybody get this, we can still hit 115,000 by the end of this year. That's by Christmas. That's like 16 weeks. And his thesis, again, we are in those choppy sideways area right now. I called it sideways purgatory yesterday. But the long-term outlook remains very strong. And he does believe we could hit 115K by the end of this year. Wouldn't that be nice? That would sure cheer a lot of people up. Some people believe bull run's over. Some people believe we'll never hit $100,000. But we'll see. The Great Escape over there in Britain. Hope all is well. But let's look at one other thing. I shared this yesterday. Powerlaw expects a price of 99,902 by Christmas as well. So between that, I hope one of them is right. It would be nice if they were. Between Powerlaw and Fundstrat, let's see where we go. I know that Tom Lee from Fundstrat as well does believe 250K is on the cards within the next 12 months. We'll see. Remember, Bitcoin, when she wants to move, she moves violently. So make sure you're on the train. Now, one of the things that has put a bit of a dampener on things and why it's different this time around is last time, back during C19, everybody was flush with cash. And this chart really shows that picture from Fred. The personal savings rate, you can see people were saving like 30 to 35% of their monies because they were sitting at home lockdown. And what were they going to do? Well, they went to the crypto casino and threw it all into Bitcoin and other stuff. Swiper, no swiping, thank you. And Stephen Weston, good to see you, buddy. But what's happened right now, what is kind of more terrifying, if you look at the personal savings rate, people are spending all they have. Nobody is saving. Nobody. So when you see a chart like this, it looks like, yeah, people are saving 2% of the money. But remember, that's the average. There's a lot of people that are going deep, deep into credit card debt. They're getting the cars repossessed. They're filing bankruptcy. It's a horrible situation. And look how low we are. And what's really alarming about this chart is where we are today is exactly where we are in 2008, right before the poop hit the fan, the global financial crisis. That is a scary pattern, everybody. Very scary. So how this ties into Bitcoin, no mun, no fun, no Bitcoin pump. Because retail isn't on yet. And I don't know if they'll come because they have no money. This is an institutional game. I made a video on that a couple months ago as well. But anyway, moving on. Let's talk about crypto proper, because there are some startling things happening in the cryptoverse, not just Bitcoin. But here, this is the usual L1s, L2 summary for the week. TVL, Aptos wins the week. Stablecoin volume is dead all around. No change. Daily active user, monster 60% gain for Solana, which is already a huge base to begin with. And daily transactions, Toncoin, 60% move. Despite the fact of them being down twice in a row, 2 consecutive days, they still had a huge amount of transactions. That's because of the dog coin that they're launching or whatever it was, which actually brought the chain down in the first place. A lot of activity on that chain as well. Let's look at the price performance for the week. Major tokens for the week. Ugly. Pretty much everything down 10% except for Aptos, down only 5.4%, and Tron up 0.5%. Tron has, again, is the chain of stablecoins. It continues to crush it. And that's where we are. But Arbitrum and Matic and Toncoin, again, down big. That's very peculiar that this says this is down big, because that doesn't corroborate with the other data that I saw a minute ago. This one. Toncoin, it says it's up. Anyway, I have to figure out one of these sources is having an issue. But hey, that's why you go to many different sources. You pull in all you can, because sometimes there can be a glitch in data. But the Toncoin actually should be down for the week, which means this one has a problem. Anyway, I'll dig into that and try to figure out what's going on. If it is an error in this source, which is, I can't remember where I pull it from, I have to stop using it then. Create our own. Yes, actually we have our own. Anyway, let's look at Ethereum. Why is Ethereum having a horrible week? Well, the ETF is extremely lackluster. I mean, 27th of August, 3.4 million out. 28th, 5.9 in. 29th, 1.7 out. Yesterday, zero. For an asset of this size, to have so little ETH ETF activity, it's kind of scary. And the total net since they launched this thing is down nearly $500 million. So this has not been a raving success that people believe it has been. The Bitcoin ETF had a great start at the beginning. This one is not following the same trajectory at all. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Is DeFi dead? Is it back? Could there be an alt season? Check this. This is from Kato AI. DeFi is, according to them, so back because after being pushed aside by other narratives like AI and memes and crap like that, there are now signs of a massive DeFi resurgence going on behind the scenes. First up, Mindshare in DeFi in general has been on a 3-month rampage upwards, and it's close to doubling its base from 7 to 14% of Mindshare this year, which is big. What are the two big drivers of this? Well, these two. I have been talking a lot about AAVE lately, and also Drift. Drift is a Solana protocol, and if you look at the change in Mindshare over 30 days, 7 days, 3 months, massive. Everybody's talking Drift, everybody's playing on Drift, and again, just 3 months ago, only 7% of crypto Twitter was discussing DeFi. Now it's double, 14%. And the shift could signal a turning point in the sector. And as DeFi starts to regain attention, we need to ensure our portfolio is packed with these projects. And I'm going to talk about a couple of them right now. Okay? DeFi is alive. And remember, always, the secret to investing is get in early, get in hard. Don't get in after things have pumped, but before they pump. So I'm not saying they will pump, but there's some crazy stuff happening behind the scenes. First of all, daily active users by chain. This blew me away when I checked the data this morning. There is a green line there, and it shows you a new record all-time high for any chain, not just Solana. 3.5 million daily active users. Number 2 is Base, 885. Number 3 is Binance, 802. Polygon, number 4, 721. Bitcoin, number 5, 564K. And then other stuff down the line, doesn't really matter. But everything has been kind of stagnant with the exception of that green line, which is driven by a lot of action in DeFi on Drift. When I first started using Drift, it didn't have liquidity for me or the specifications I needed to trade, but I will be checking it out again as well. And per our crypto compendium and SCP profiler, this is a key stat that I always look at. This is the market cap per daily active user by chain. Polkadot values based on their market cap divided by the number of daily active users is valued at $1.75 million per user. Number 2, ETH, 786, I think it is. And also Stacks, $1.337 million per user. That's kind of jokeville. ICP, $758K per user. Cardano, $493K per user. $500,000 per user. These are crazy when you compare them to something like, you can do market cap per daily transaction, market cap per daily active user, etc. The critical metrics show you exactly how overvalued or undervalued a chain is. And that's stunning right there. So anyway, per this, Solana is valued at $18,000 per user. Also, we have some great news coming for Cardano. Cardano is coming out with their Chang hard fork, set to deploy on September 1st, tomorrow, everybody. And I know the Cardano army is very excited. And this solution, I don't know much about it, to be honest, but I think it's all around enabling governance, decentralized governance for the actual chain. And this era will enable, network participants and stakers on the Cardano chain to basically be in control of the entire chain. The Chang hard fork aims to implement an on-chain distributed governance framework, and it will incorporate minimal viable community-run governance structures as outlined in CIP 1694, I think it was. And basically, it's handing over the network's maintenance to the Cardano community. So, Cardano community, you get to maintain this puppy. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Now, despite all of this excitement of this chain, the daily active users still suck. 25,000 users. To put things in perspective, Solana now has 140 times more users than Cardano. For every Cardano user, there's 140 people using Solana. So will new governance change the chain? Maybe the people now, the community that's in control of it, can make it work, make better product market fit, drive more adoption. We'll be monitoring this carefully. But right now, the adoption is down there with Elrond, okay? And I know the Elrond army is not a big fan of my channel. But anyway, shout out to the Cardano folks too. They are at least respectful. I like that. Also, Pyth, other stuff that is happening, not receding in growth, but growing hard. Pyth now has over $5 billion in total value secured. That's what they call TVS in oracles like Chainlink, etc. across 211 protocols. And Pyth is gaining ground on Chainlink. And the Chainlink is the 800-pound gorilla market leader. But during this time, Pyth has steadily gained market share on Chainlink. Another view of that is as follows. You can see here Chainlink has 46.38% of all the Oracle work in the cryptoverse. But not too long ago, Link was 70% or 67%. It's come right down. It's been eaten alive by other players. And I hear the question already coming, what the hell is WinkLink? Well, that's Tron. That's the Tron Oracle. And that's all driven by all stablecoin volume. Again, the Link dominance is down from 67 or 70% down to 46%. And Pyth has grown 120% in terms of TVS, rising as well from 4.93% of all Oracle transactions to nearly 11% now, 10.6%. So it's growing and it's catching up as we go forward. So watch this space carefully. Talk quickly about the stock market. What happened last week? Well, up, down. Nvidia, big kick in the teeth, down nearly 8%. People were expecting earnings to be through the moon like they have been for the last year or so, but no, they were still good, but not exponential enough for the market. So it's like, this thing is slowing down. And that's what happens when you start getting high, going up to 35,000 feet. You start to slow down a little bit. Microsoft flat, Apple flat, Google down 1.39%, Meta down 1.27%, Amazon up just less than 1%, Tesla down 2.8%, and everything's kind of mixed. But again, it is August. But zooming out for a second, I want to show you the stonk market. This looks like an insane meme coin. This is the S&P 500. And yes, it's going back a long time. But just look at that chart. Again, the combination of very strong economic conditions for stocks, not the macro itself, but for stocks. We still also have strong corporate earnings. We have positive investor sentiment, and we have broad sector performance. And this is the S&P 500 that still continues to make new all-time highs. So again, when you zoom out and you look at a chart like this, and this is why they say time in the market is better than timing the market. That's a rager right there. Now, let's talk a little bit about Tesla. Not much news here. But this is a cool chart from Pololi on X. And it basically shows you the demise of the combustion engine market. You've got diesel, petrol. Diesel is that like orangey color at the top, and then petrol is purple, which is gasoline in the US. And your hybrids and your plug-in hybrids. Hybrids and plug-in hybrids are a stupid joke. Either you have one or the other. Don't double your complexity, and they don't work at all. But I want to cast your eyes in the green. Norway is nearly 85% BEV. Denmark is nearly 50%. China is already over 50%. Sweden, Netherlands, etc. Malta. The flipping point is coming. ICE will be a thing of the past, and it's going to happen very soon. So watch this space carefully. Now, speaking of related, adjacent to Tesla, Brazil goes dark as it shuts down Twitter, X, and Starlink. Because in Brazil, oi, tabo to all our friends in Brazil. I love the country. I love the people. I love everything about it. But I do not like the government. Censor this. So governments are trying to prevent people from speaking freely. And that is a real threat. And we're seeing so much of that bubble up. 2 weeks ago, I wrote a paper on this exact topic. It's a concern. If you believe it's not a concern, please take the time to educate yourself. Not allowing humans to talk, or silencing your opposition, or silencing something you're trying to do with humans and experiment on them is not good. Okay? I want to stress that. People should be allowed to talk. People should be allowed to have access to the internet. People should not be censored for freedom of speech. I think it's so important because we know what happens in history when speech is censored. In fact, we just lived through it since 2020. And Meta, who also admitted to quashing freedom of speech and doing the bidding of governments. This is the term quantum apocalypse. And it refers to a potential future scenario where quantum computers will become so powerful they can break any encryption method, which is kind of scary. And a lot of encryption is used to secure data on the internet. It's used to secure things like Bitcoin and blockchains, etc. But this is something that Meta is now worried about. Zuckerberg is on it. It could render most of today's cryptographic systems, including the ones used in blockchain, vulnerable to attacks. And Meta are working on a post-quantum cryptography, I think it's PQC or something, that will be unbreakable by quantum. And as I've also stressed too, we're not quite there yet, but by the year 2027, 2028, the machines will be powerful enough to break most encryption today, and perhaps including Bitcoin's encryption too. So the Bitcoin development team, I know, is going to harden their protocol as well as Meta and others. So watch for that too. Technology can be bad, but just imagine, you know how governments have antiquated systems and they have a lot of information? Well, they'll be the targets of hackers, and they'll be very easy to crack. Mark my words. They already are easy to crack. Anywho, that's the show today. I'm going to go back to work on tomorrow's Q&A. I want to thank you all for coming. I know everybody's on holiday, but thank you as well to the mods of the chats, and hope you enjoy the show. TNT Tesla, Sean Donnelly, and everybody else. Take care of yourselves. See you later. Bye-bye.